to the kit.
Well, he's got some, he wants the boys to get some mugs out of it, but he's getting on with them.
He'll come up to here and have a chat with Alan Perry, will be with Milan Mandrich and Peter Story, and they'll sit down, they'll have a chat, they'll work out what they want, what sort of wages they can afford, what they're looking for, and then when they get to do the deal, they'll come up here and they'll have a meeting, and they'll thrash out all the details, contract details with the players and the agents, and hopefully get it sorted. So this is where it will happen. Okay. The chairs on the table over there are actually from HMS Victory. Alright, they've been given to the club. So that's a picture of the Victory on the wall at the back now. Okay, so I'll just go through a little bit of the history of Pompey. Okay, Pompey was founded in what year?
The year it was founded.
Yeah, what year did you see when you come in? Were you observant? Looking up, written up on the entrance?
1898.
1898. Okay, so 1898. Yeah, it's cheating, that's shocking. Right, 1898, which means it is how many years old?
207. 107.
107, yeah. Alright, 107 years old. Okay, so quite an old club. Alright, 1898 was founded. The first major honour that Pompey won was 1939. Okay, do you know what that was? The FA Cup. Top man, well done. So it was the FA Cup. It was the third time Pompey had got to the final, and they'd lost the previous two. And that year, 1939, they got to the final. In the third round of the cup, they actually got drawn at home at Fratton Park, and the manager was a man by the name of Jack Tin, the big fat man, and he actually got, for the third round of the cup, he wore this little cloth thing here, which is called, they're called spats. And what they do is they went, in those days, they went over the top of his shoes, and they were a little fashion item. And he wore them for the third round of the cup, and when we won, he thought, well, these must be a lucky omen. So what he did was he put them in a safe, he locked them away, and we got drawn at home for the fourth round of the cup, and he wore them again, and we won. Then he put them away again, we got drawn at home in the fifth round, the quarter-finals, and he wore them for every round of the cup, and we got all the way to the final. And when we got to the final, we played against Wolverhampton Wanderers, okay? And in those days, Wolves were like the biggest team, and Pompey were not one of the best teams, okay? So it was probably like, I don't know, Man United, maybe when Man United play somebody like Fulham or something like that. Alright, so Pompey were like Fulham, Wolves were like Man United, they were the top team, and everybody thought the Wolves were going to win, and Pompey were just turning up to make up the numbers. But Pompey had other ideas, and they went up there and they won 4-1 in the final, in front of about 106,000 people, and that was at the old Wembley Stadium, alright, which at the moment is being rebuilt, ready for England and hopefully for the Olympics as well. Alright, so that was at 106,000 people at the old Wembley Stadium. And Pompey brought back the cup. Now obviously they get to keep the cup for 1 year, and then it has to go back for the next club who wins it. And every club gets a little mini replica, and the little replica is the cup that's behind the spats there. Alright? But in 1939, there was another major event which happened, which was the World War. So, Second World War happened, and all of football got suspended because all of the players had to go and fight for their country. So what happened was, in that year, because Pompey had won the cup, there was no football for 7 years until 1946. So Pompey got to hold on to the cup for 7 years. So a little trivia question which sometimes comes up, which club has held the FA Cup for longest? The answer is Pompey, okay, because they got to hold it during the war. It was actually held at a few different locations during the war as well. It got moved around the city to keep it safe, and I think it actually got lost once as well. There is a story about a dog called Pebbles. I don't know whether it's true or not. Pickles, it's a
He
pickle.
got shot.
And he found it, didn't he?
In the bush.
Yeah, so whether that's true or not, there is that story. The football which we've got down there was actually a football which was used in the championship winning season. So 1939 we won the cup, 10 years later 1948 to 49, and then 49 to 50, Pompey won Division 1, which is, or was, the top league in those days. Obviously now we have the Premiership, but in the old days it used to be Division 1, 2, 3 and 4, and Pompey actually won Division 1 2 years running. Okay, the second of those years, we went the whole season without losing a game at Fratton Park. Okay, and the team that finished second to us that year was...
That was,
It was, who do you reckon? The team that finished second that year was Man United. Alright, so in those days it was Pompey, Man United, and we were the best team, and Man United was second to us, okay? So hopefully in a few years' time it'll happen again. Alright, so that football there was used in the championship winning season. It's actually signed all of the championship winning players. You can have a look at it in a minute, okay? And there is a little story, it's actually laced up at the front, okay? And the old footballs used to have a bladder, a pig's bladder or a sheep's bladder that was put inside, pumped up, okay? And then they used to lace the football up around the outside. And because it was heavy leather, if it was wet, raining, the ball got quite heavy and it was quite painful, okay? And somebody told me a little story once about how the good players, the really top players of that time, used to be able to cross the football in such a way that they could get the laces pointing away from the person who was heading it. Alright? That was a story my granddad told me. And I've never forgotten it. Okay? So that because if you headed it on the laces, it made a big lace imprint on the forehead. Alright? So Stanley Matthews, he was that good, so maybe he could have done that. Alright, so that's the football that's used in the championship winning side. Okay, 1948, 49, 49, 50. We then started to slip down the leagues a little bit. Okay, over the next few years, we went all the way down to Division 4. Then we worked all our way back up again to Division 2. And then in 1987, 88, we got promoted up to the top league again with Alan Ball as manager. But we went straight back down again, and we stayed in Division 2, which then got changed to Division 1 when the Premiership was formed. We stayed there until 3 years ago when Harry Redknapp took over, and we got promoted again back up to the top league. Okay, which was definitely the best season I've ever seen at Pompey in my time. And the top scorer that year, who was top scorer when we got promoted? Todderer, good, alright. So any of you are going to be professional footballers when you get older? You're going to be a pro? Right. I'm going to tell you a little story then, okay, about my boss, Paul, because Svetoslav Todorov was top scorer, and then a few days before the season started in the Premiership, he got a horrible knee injury, and for 2 years he didn't play a game, or he came on for one game against Liverpool, but he didn't play a game because he was injured. Okay, he's just fought his way back now, and he's on the fringes of making a return. Alright, but it is important that an injury can happen to you at any point. Okay, so my boss Paul Hardiman used to play for Pompey, and when he was younger he got offered the chance to play for Aston Villa. Alright, but whilst he was at Pompey, he was doing an apprenticeship in carpentry, and Aston Villa said, we'll sign you, but you concentrate on football, no apprenticeship. But Paul said, no, I want to get myself another qualification, so that if something happens to my football, I've got something else that I can do. So he stayed with Pompey, alright, and when he finished his career, he actually did a couple of years in carpentry before he became a community manager that he is now. Alright, so it's important for you lads and lasses to work hard at school and make sure you do well for yourselves. Okay, if you want to be a footballer, that's brilliant. Okay, you get a nice car, lots of money, best looking girlfriend, alright, nice life, but it can go wrong at any point, so you need to work hard at school as well. Alright? Right, what I'll do is I'll let you have a little look around. There's pictures on the wall of what the new stadium's going to look like. You can have a look in the trophy cabinet there. Most of them are antiques there. Alright? And then we'll come out and we'll go down to the change room.
Oh, wow.
I don't know actually.
Sorry, mate?
Right, okay, if everyone's happy, we'll go down to the changing rooms. Okay, it is important, okay, nobody touches anything, all the kits are laid out. Okay, careful call back the kid man is about 6'4" and about 19 stone. And he's a Welsh boxer. He had a boxing match against Audley Harrison in the Commonwealth Games, I think. So if any of you touch anything, it means I've got to take them off.
Already a must.
Please take care.
Well, my money's on the big fella.
Thank you.
10 years time. Well, then I'll get down.
I didn't get that from my full parent. You didn't? No, people say Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. And I said, well, I've got plans. She looked at me and went, we should probably arrange that.
Yeah, keep going.
Big man.
That's the chilling game.
That didn't work.
Sorry, don't want to do that.
Oh, that's down. That's down.
Right. Okay, this is obviously the home dressing room. The first thing that won't be playing, so I'd imagine it'll be either Hughes and Diao or maybe gel and VFO, I don't know. Looks like
Viewkeeper's
there
got
are-
a fit.
Sorry, has it?
In terms of-
So maybe, I mean, it might be subject to change, but it looks like it will be 11 from those 12 over there. Alright, so. Yeah, well, obviously, if they're subs, they're over there. The gold is always there.
Then you ever wear the fit
No, it looks like.
Sorry?
Then you ever wear the fit once?
Yeah, some of them actually change at half time as well. I don't know.
So they don't wear it just once then?
Oh, no, it's like,
It's just that I noticed the socks have got the little clips on, so they don't do that stuff.
yeah, the socks are like, new socks every day.
If you can imagine.
Yeah. And if you know, the sub player's got about 3 shirts.
Doctor, physio, okay, you can imagine it's quite cramped. It's quite cramped in here. The away dressing is exactly the same size, but most of the new stage, if you go to Chelsea, they actually turn the heating pipes on in the middle of the summer. In the away dressing, they turn the heating on full blast to try and make it uncomfortable to the away team. And they'll do the opposite in the winter. There'll be no heating at all, so it'll be freezing cold. So there's all sorts of little bits of canesmanship to go on. When Wimbledon used to play at Selhurst Park, they used to put a big ghetto blaster right outside the away team's dressing room, and they used to turn it up full blast so they couldn't listen to their team talk. Okay, so there's all sorts of little bits to go on. Just through that door there, you've got showers on the right, and there's 2 baths in there as well. Okay, in the olden days, there used to be one big bath, and all the players used to jump in together. But these days, the health and safety doesn't allow that. But the reason there's 2 baths there is about 5 minutes before the end of the game, Kev the kitman comes in and he'll fill one up with hot water and one with ice cold water. And any players that have a knock, what they'll do is they'll spend about 10 minutes in the cold, then 10 minutes in the hot, and they'll switch over a couple of times. And what that does, the hot and cold actually brings the bruising or the swelling out quicker, which then enables the injury to heal. And hopefully get them back to fitness quicker. So any players that have a knock will go in there. The rest of them have to make do with a shower. Alright, there's no brill cream in there either. The room next door on that side, it might be open, but I don't think we're allowed to go through anyway. You can have a little look, but don't go, and that's actually a fitness room where the players that are injured will go in there with the physio, and there's a couple of massage tables and bits and bobs in there. Okay, but I don't think we're allowed to go in there. Normally on the tables laid out before the game, you normally see Lucas drinks and Jaffa cake. Okay, Jaffa cakes are quite well known for quick energy providers. Alright, so those of you lads playing in teams should always have Jaffa cakes at half time. Okay, just before the game. The other thing as well, the boots. Notice that most players will have 2 or 3 pairs of boots. That or more. That depends on when they go out to do their warm-up. It depends on the state of the ground. Obviously, in the middle of winter, well, if the ground's soft, they'll have longer studs. If the ground's harder, then they'll have shorter studs. So the players will make a decision on that when they do their warm-up as to what pair of boots that they are going to wear.
Do we get to see your wages?
We'll go past the away dressing. I think that's
Close the door and run.
I don't know, because I've got a feeling that the other blokes just turned up to lay their kits out.
That's what I'm going to take.
In which case, there's no chance they'll know that.
No, I meant that the door's open to take.
If the door's open, you can pop your head in and take a picture, yeah. But I think they've just turned up and they're just laying their kits out. In which case, I won't want us playing until I've got 2 in there. Some of the players have long sleeve shirts, so let's have a short sleeve shirt. Some of them, yeah. You got over here, we've got the tactics to how to thwart Gillingham. Underneath, presumably the team that we were playing that night. So obviously any tactics that he's got, there's a little tactics board behind where obviously corners, set pieces, they'll work out who's picking up who. Now obviously today, presumably, if Alan Shearer's playing, and then Stefano will be picking him up, hopefully picking him. So we've got a little tactics board. Match balls. When we do go down, the referee's room's on the left-hand side as well. Okay, it's got referee's room marked on it, so you can have a little look at that as well.
Check his
Okay.
pockets before.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. So maybe it will be edged down. Right, okay, what we're doing, we'll go out and we'll go out the tunnel, and then we'll just go and sit up in the TY Europe stand, or front end, and then we'll sit on there for a couple of minutes, just to finish off. So if you want to follow me, please don't go off if you can.
Yeah, so do a copy for well, do 2 copies, one for me, one for the sportsman. This is great.
Keep it narrow.
After matches.
Well, so I'll give the file from West Brom. If you need it, or just a room, then you try it. line's going that way, but the line's going crossways.
I think they've done the edge of the penalty area the other end.
Oh, yeah.
It's just how very cute it is. I think right over in the very distance over there's Hailing Island.
Thanks for that.
Another very useless information. I can remember that, because you had to go up all those steps.
Yeah, I know.
The Neckerman.
Nightmare, isn't it? Yeah.
Went to the England that way. Just that past now.
I imagine I just wanted to
It's just really,
Does anyone remember a game a few years ago when there was an advertising board that was at the top of this stand and it actually
Fell down in the game.
Do you
Didn't
remember
it?
that?
Yeah. Off.
They actually got the first 3 or 4 rows to move from down the bottom and they put them into the north stand. And then the hoarding fell off the top.
Yeah, it was a very windy day, wasn't it?
Yeah. The stand, lovely new stand, and then the first game against Swindon Town on a Friday night, they switched the floodlights on and realised that the stand was blocking out the light. And the first 12 yards of this end of the pitch were actually in darkness. And they offered, that was when Terry Fennett was manager, and they offered both managers the chance to call off the game, but they both chose to play it. I think we lost 1-0 anyway. In the good old days of Terry
Classic
Fennett.
goal in the night, so we wouldn't say it.
Typical property, isn't it? Find out afterwards they've done it wrong.
I think Milan's made a difference. It is a lot more professional, but there's a long way to go, and you see a lot of clubs. There's a long way to go. Need to get the stadium sorted out.
Right, just whilst I've got everyone together, say a few words. Thanks on behalf of Nick, who's done the tour today, Paul Adam and his boss for allowing the supporters club to do these tours. I'm sure you'd like to thank Nick yourself. Give him a big thank you for today. Just before we go down, we'll see where Johnny Westwood sits, if you like.
That's the best bit of the tour.
Yeah, just to see the bars are so bent where he bangs his bugle and rattle against them. But yeah, thanks Nick. Thanks
No
for
problem.
everything. And the next tour, if anyone's interested, is December the 17th before the West Brom game. Well, not, they do put a new seat in there every year for us, but and this is a bar, as you can see, badly, which they try to knock out every year, and they never achieve it. But that's where he actually bangs his bugle. This side is absolutely unbelievable. So far from this side. But yeah, on will be from the run.
Right. Few memories. Right, film the cabinet as well. Where all gets knocked down.
well, this won't be knocked down.
Ah, good. Just have a quick film.
That's the thing, if you want extras, you know.
So he's going to try the carrot as well.
Been to Portsmouth.
It's not working.